My sister had a teddy bear. A scary teddy bear. I don't know why, but it creeped me out. It was just so disturbing to me. The thing had eyes that looked so real. It was as if it was made from a real bear, and its face was just blank and unsettling. I first started to get weird feelings around the bear when my sister first got it. She was only a baby at the time, and I was about 4. We had a dog, you see, and he had a habit of eating things, so my mother always had to put it up on a small cabinet in the corner in the upstairs hallway. Every time that I went up those stairs, I saw that creepy bear suddenly glaring around the corner at me, as if it were watching me. This wasn't the weird part. It started to get really weird around 5 years later, at the age of 6 or 7. My sister lost interest in the bear, so my mother just threw it in the old toy cupboard. The only problem was that the cupboard was in my room. When I was 9, old enough to stay on my own and go to bed without any assistance, every night I would get into my bed and turn my lamp off. This is when it got scary. As I was getting some sleep, I suddenly remembered Mom putting that teddy in the cupboard. I slowly turned to look over across my room to see it through the glass. My heart suddenly stopped as I thought about the horrors that plush has caused me. By the age of 9, I wanted to grow up and lose my fears, so I just shook it off and put my head on the pillow. When I got up to pull my sheets on a bit further, I noticed something that would scar me for life. There sat, at the end of my bedroom, the teddy. My heart started beating normally again. I sat there staring at it for a minute. When I needed to yawn, I closed my eyes. I opened them back to see the teddy sitting closer to my bed. At this point, I was really freaked out. I started to move back to the wall, looking around to see if there was any signs that anyone could have come in. When I looked back to see the teddy at the end of my bed, I was so startled that I almost fainted from fear. When I blinked, it had gone. I looked around. To my relief, I saw no sign of it. I sat my head back down on my pillow, hoping for some sleep. Then I opened my eyes. It was above my head, staring right down at me. I screamed as it lunged down at me. I will never see a bear the same way again. A few years later, after years of horror, I burned it. I sat in enjoyment as the bear was turned into smoke and ashes in my fireplace. I lived through my teenage years. The only thing I can remember that was in any way similar to my bad experience was when I watched Trainspotting. The baby scene shocked me so bad. But other than that, all was well. When I turned 19, I was about to move into my new home. I had been given the keys to the house and was ready to set up my furniture, and after hours of carrying, I carried the final box from the removal truck into the front door and shut the door behind me. I turned to go into the kitchen and put it on the table. I opened it to see a cabinet. I took it out, walked into my new living room, and placed it in the corner. Stared at it and thought to myself, I don't remember packing this cabinet. I didn't really care that much, as I had just moved into my new home. I walked back into the kitchen to grab my television, and brought it into the living room when I saw it. The teddy. It just sat there, staring at me with those realistic, blank eyes. It was beyond imagination, like something from a horror movie. My fears could not be contained, and whatever that bear or demon possessing it was, I knew I was scared. I threw it in the garbage and put a cinder block over the lid as I slept in my bed that night, content and feeling a little bit more secure. I woke up that night and checked the time. 12 o'clock. I heard a sound in the kitchen. I went to the kitchen and noticed that the outside door was wide open, with muddy paw tracks leading into the kitchen. I saw that one of my knives was gone from the holder. And then I heard something creeping behind me. I hightailed it to my car and drove. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw its face. It was holding a knife. I slammed the brakes. It flew through the front windshield, stood up, and stared right into my eyes. I felt as if it was pulling me towards it. The only thing that would be coming towards it would be my own 2 front wheels. I rammed into it. It felt a slight bump. I sighed in relief and drove. Not even a minute after, I felt as if something was cutting at the bottom of my car. Then my car grinded to a halt. I went to check it, and there was a slash through my fuel tank. I ran for dear life to the nearest hotel. I fell on the bed with exhaustion. And when I woke up, it was at the end of my bed.